What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Primetime Sports Podcast, hosted by Joey Mailari. So today's episode is going to be a special episode. I got the sports guru, Mike Hurley, coming back on the show to give us predictions for the NFL season. Where we break it down every division and give out predictions of where we think every team will finish in the division from first to fourth. Obviously, you guys know I did do a quick episode yesterday, but where I think the Giants will be. I think a 9-8 was my prediction, and now I'm going to give you predictions for the rest of the league and where I think every team's going to finish. So just 1 second of them on. Hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you. Here he is, the sports guru, Mike Hurley. How we doing, Mike?
Pretty good. All right, we got to sneak in some division 1 through 4s before the season gets going tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. It's big Saturday night. Obviously, we were just talking BC football. BC struggling in their game against Virginia Tech. It's currently 17-0. So this is a break from the BC game.
There.
Exactly. Hey, this is a break from the BC game. Now we're going to talk some NFL, obviously, with NFL Sunday kicking off tomorrow. Obviously, the Bills had a big win on Thursday night. We meant to do this beforehand, but it doesn't change any of our predictions. Our predictions are going to stay the same no matter what they were. So here we are, Mike. Which division you want to start off with, kid?
We'll go with the number one division in football, the AFC East.
The number one division? We're talking AFC West then.
Yep.
We're talking best division. But
well, no. All right, top division. I got Bills, Pats, Miami, Jets.
Okay. See, here's the thing. My difference is the middle two, the second and third team. I got the Bills obviously winning the division. I got the Dolphins coming in second. I think the Dolphins will have a good year. I like Tua with Tyreek Hill. I got the Patriots in third. I got the Jets in fourth. But I think the Jets and the Patriots, only a game or two is going to separate them in my eyes. What do you think about the Jets?
I think majority opinion says that the Patriots are Miami. The record between the two of them is going to be maybe 1 game difference. So I got the Pats winning tomorrow. I got the Pats, ahead of them in the standings.
Wow, you have the Patriots winning tomorrow.
The playoffs, maybe a 10-7.
10-7 sneak into the playoffs. Okay. You think they win?
10-7 sneak in.
You think they win tomorrow?
I think they have to win tomorrow.
Okay. I don't mind that. I mean, week 1, no one knows what every team's going to look like, so even though I think Miami wins that game.
Well, you got Miami with a brand new coach, so
27-17.
Guy's never coached a game in his life. You got to hope that he has some growing pains before the team actually gets going. In terms of roster talent, Miami's probably better in some important places.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I'd say 27-17 is my prediction right now, Miami winning that game. But at the end of the day, no one knows what every team's going to look like, so I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots won the game. But you're not high on the Jets at all, huh?
No, not high on the Jets. I think the Jets are going to be back in the top 5, picking for another quarterback in one of these next coming years.
I think the Jets have an okay year. I think a better year than they have in the past. Maybe 7-10, 6-11, 7-10. I think they get better this year.
Well, historically speaking, the NFL does not have a bunch of 6-win teams. They got some teams that win like 3 and 4 games. So the Jets are going to stay down there. They're not beating the Bills. The Pats should beat them. And I think Miami's going to beat them both games this year, too. We'll
see. It'll be interesting. So I got the Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets. Mike has the Bills, Patriots, Dolphins, Jets. So Jets are on the bottom 4 for both. Bottom 4, fourth one for both of us. First, we got the Bills, and the middle 2 is what changes. I got the Dolphins over the Patriots. Mike's got the Patriots over Miami. So, very interesting there to start off. Which division you want to do next?
Do you want to go NFC East or just stay in the AFC?
We can go NFC East. You want to do that? Okay.
NFC Least.
Okay.
I think I'm actually making a slight adjustment here. I'm going Eagles,
Me too.
Cowboys, Washington, Giants.
Okay. Mine's Eagles, which I think they win the division. I think they have the best team in the division. Don't have as many injuries as the Cowboys have. Cowboys have a lot of injuries right now. I'm going to go Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, Commanders. I think the Giants right now are probably similar range right now as the Cowboys. I think the Giants go 9-8. I gave them the benefit of the doubt yesterday on the episode I recorded. I think the Cowboys go 9-8 as well. But I actually think
Cowboys have the best team, best quarterback, but
yes,
some injuries, and the coaching is questionable.
I like their roster. I like Dallas's roster, but I like the Eagles' roster more for some reason. The Kobe Dean rookie, going to be a stud for them. Obviously slipping in the draft.
Be good. I just think, even if they have better talent all over the field, they don't have it at quarterback. I think Dak's still the best. He's still the top dog in the division.
Okay, so you have the Giants in 4th. What do you think the Giants do this year record-wise? 5 wins, 6 wins? What are you thinking?
I think the Giants, like you think of the Jets, I think they could get 6-7 wins.
Okay. I think the Giants are going to be 8-9, 9-8.
Neck and neck with Washington.
Okay, neck and neck with Washington. Okay.
And I think the division winner probably only has like 10 wins there, maybe.
Okay.
10 and 7.
So what made you switch on the Eagles, or switching to the Eagles? I know you like the Cowboys We talked about it, very briefly before. You liked the Cowboys before, didn't you?
I did like the Cowboys before because of Dak. I just think he's got no protection, and Dak's already a little banged up going into week 1, right? He's playing, but he's already got the questionable tag.
Well, they got Tyron Smith being hurt. Michael Gallup's banged up. They got a lot of injuries there. Zeke, who knows what Zeke's going to look like. They got a lot of injuries.
Cooper's gone. Not that I was a big Cooper guy, but...
Amari Cooper, you're right. You're right. It's a good point. So, yeah. So, your prediction is Eagles, Cowboys, Giants. Or no, Eagles, Cowboys, Commanders, Giants.
And the Cowboys got, what's his name there on defense, rookie of the year.
Micah Parsons. Could be defensive player of the year.
They're going to have some playmakers on defense. Diggs is still there with all those interceptions. I know he's not the best coverage guy, but...
That's true.
He can win a lot of games with pick sixes or sacks and strip sacks.
Micah Parsons could be defensive player of the year. People talk about him very highly. Definitely could be up there as defensive player of the year.
Defensive player of the year plus the best quarterback in the division, you should be... in good position.
That's true. I didn't think of it that way.
Can they run the ball dominant like they used to? I'm not sure. Because Giants, they stacked up the D-line a little. The Eagles' D-line's pretty good.
Yep. You're right. Eagles do have a good D-line.
D-line too, so.
Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox.
They're facing a lot of good front sevens, but they're, starting 5-0 linemen are a little weaker or missing their best guy.
Okay.
That's why I got them slipping.
I respect that. Okay, so we talked about, obviously, the Eagles. Both of us think they win the division. I like the Eagles roster the most. They might not have the best roster. I know I said that originally. I think I like their roster more than I like Dallas's, and they got a little bit more health. Obviously, older, a little bit on their defense. Brandon Graham, Fletcher Cox. They get Nakobe Dean, though. He's younger. Darius Slay, great corner. I go Eagles first. I get the Giants second. I think the Giants surprise people. I think the biggest sleeper team in the NFL this year is the Giants. I think the Giants... Hey, I might be a little biased, but I think the Giants surprise people this year. And I know you're not a big Daniel Jones guy. I don't know where you really fall on him for this year. I know you haven't been a fan of him overall in his whole career.
I think I had him, 25, 26 for the QB rankings?
Yes. I was going to say, how do you feel about him now, though, going into opening day? I know we made that video, but we recorded that about 2-3 weeks ago.
I think my opinion is only going to change if he starts winning some games.
Okay. So you need production.
You see him more, you watch him, follow him more. Like, he's got a new coach, maybe new playmakers.
So you need production out of him, you're saying?
To me, the known thing about him is that he doesn't win many games, and he turns it over a lot, so...
So you want production out of him. That's your main thing, which I understand, but I don't think he's had help.
For a guy, it's like watching any other team with a quarterback. Like Geno Smith, I don't expect a lot out of him.
But he's had no help, though. You got to factor that in, too, though, right? He's had no help.
Who?
Daniel Jones has had no help. No offensive line. Joe Judge is his head coach. Jason Garrett's the offensive coordinator.
Resources to it. Whether or not they've been good is a different thing.
I don't know.
They paid for the nose for the O-line. They got Saquon. They paid for a bunch of receivers last year. They've put some money into building a better roster. It just has not come together.
So we were talking, you said the Giants could be like the Jets of this year. I know you're not high in the Jets. You got the Giants and fourth, both of those teams.
What do you think the Jets might be? You think the Jets are going to
7-10
sneak up and win some games?
I think 7-10. I like Zach Wilson. Do you like Zach Wilson? I mean, I think he can make I think he have a good season. I know he's out first 4.
He's just too reckless with his body. He just runs around, gets hit. I mean, he's already hurt, right?
Yeah, he is. He's already banged up. But he's out the first 4 games of the season, which doesn't help him in his, ability, to get out there and win them some games. Joe Flacco, though.
I don't think that they match up well within the division, so I can't put them anywhere but 4th.
Flacco, though, is the starter for the first 4 games, so we've been Flacco fans.
I don't know.
So, alright, so there we go. So this is the NFC East.
Prime. I don't think he really gets full effort anymore.
Flacco, yeah, he's probably toast, winning big games wise, definitely I'd say. But I like his arm, and he still could step in and win you a couple games. Maybe they go 1-3 with them. 2-2 is probably unlikely, but you never know in those first 4 games. Anyways,
what game that the Jets could play in that they're not the underdog, aside from maybe Seattle if they're tanking.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. I didn't think of it that way, but it's a good point. Probably 1-3. They do play the Ravens tomorrow, so I don't know.
They're not beating the Ravens.
Yeah, they're not going to be in the game against the Ravens. We're big Lamar Jackson fans, so obviously when we get to the AFC
the Ravens
North,
should have made the playoffs last year. They were like 8-3. Then
they were right on the edge. They were right on the edge, though, right? I think they finished. Yeah, they finished just right outside of it. Obviously, Lamar Jackson being hurt definitely didn't help them there, but obviously you have injuries.
Let's get to the AFC North then. All
right, AFC North. Switch over. All right, who do you got?
I got the Bengals since they made the Super Bowl. I got them top, and then Ravens second, making the playoffs.
Okay.
Steelers and Browns.
Okay, I'm a little bit different. I got the Ravens winning the division. I think the Bengals take a little bit of a step back. They win 9 games. I think they go 9-8. I got the Steelers in third. I got the Browns in fourth. So how do you feel about The Bengals, obviously, made it to the Super Bowl last year, AFC champions. Do you think they have a chance to get back there again?
I think they have to be a playoff team, and they have to be contending to get back to at least... it's tough. The AFC is pretty loaded, but they have to be knocking on the door of the AFC championship game again, I think.
Okay. I respect that. I think the thing with them that I took a step back, a game back at least, so I have them at 9-8, I had them at 10-7, I think originally, when I did this 2 weeks ago, and then I just updated it the last few days.
I would expect them over 10 wins. I would expect them like 11, 12 wins.
Okay. I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen. I just think the Ravens have a really good year. I think they have a great roster. They did great in the draft. Kyle Hamilton, obviously, getting him when he slipped, I think it was the 13th or the 14th pick. Getting Tyler Linderbaum, the best center in the draft, one of the best center prospects in the last 10 years. I did like what they did in the draft. I think the Ravens have the edge there. Obviously, we're big Lamar Jackson fans. How do you feel about him this season?
I think Lamar's going to be great. I think, he lost Hollywood, but that's, hopefully Bateman or somebody steps up. Their backfield's still a little shaky, right? Dobbins isn't exactly 100%.
Yes. You're right.
But that new tight end's supposed to be good, and he's got Mark Andrews. I think Lamar's going to be fine.
Isaiah Likely from Everett, Massachusetts, baby. He's in. He's in there. Nice. Tight end out of Coastal Carolina.
No, he should be good. He should be winning, I think, around 10 games, probably.
Okay. I respect that. Okay, so you talked Ravens, we talked Bengals.
No, I know that Hamilton from, Notre Dame, he's supposed to be pretty good, but
great tackler.
It's a tough little position to come in and play. Like, he's going to be facing a lot better quarterback play week in, week out. So
definitely.
I don't think he's going to be the next Ed Reed, but if he's good, then, you'll see it in a couple of years, probably.
I agree there. We talked Bengals, we talked Ravens, Steelers and Browns. I don't know, I like the Steelers offense.
I think the Steelers could surprise people and be pretty good, but not playoff. I still don't think they're playoffs.
Not playoffs, but they do have a good trio there. Najee Harris, Claypool, and George Pickens. That's a good big three right there.
Pickens for Deontay Johnson, right?
Deontay Johnson. Forgot about Deontay Johnson. You're right. The trio wide receivers, what I meant to say.
Up, right?
Yeah.
And the thing there is the quarterback. Like, they got Trubisky going, but is he going to play the whole year as a starter? We don't know.
Who knows? That's a question mark always with Trubisky.
Really, a team with that big of a question mark at quarterback is just, you can't peg them for a playoff team.
Exactly. Trubisky in his last year with the Bears, every single week it was, is Trubisky going to start next week? Because they thought they were going to cut him pull him out of the starting lineup. And he's
got all these great wide receivers, but he's just not a great passer. He runs a lot.
He's not very
really
great,
backup material. So
I like him though.
He's a seat warmer for Pickett.
Here's the thing about Trubisky. I'm not making the comparison between Trubisky and Jones, but both of them definitely get more disrespect than they deserve. Both of them, Trubisky and Daniel Jones. I feel that way.
Trubisky would be a good backup to Jones.
It almost happened. The Giants almost got him.
Similar play style.
The Giants actually almost got him. We were actually interested in him, and then just ended up not getting him. But so that's how we feel about the Steelers. I do like their offense, and obviously have a good defense. T.J. Watt's great, and Minka Fitzpatrick. But how do you feel about the Browns? Obviously, we both got them last in the division. Jacoby Brissett. Hey, Brissett though, your boy, starting quarterback for them.
I got no
Jacoby Brissett.
That is just
Jacoby.
They were not expecting to play him this whole year, so what's he really going to do? They got a good offensive line that'll help him, but he's not a precision passer.
You're right. I agree. He's a good backup though, so
I don't expect much out of them. They seem like a team that they're used to losing and they're going to continue to lose.
Okay, I respect that. I probably feel the same way. They have a good defense, but I think they win 6-7 games. I don't think they're going to be good. That division's too good for them to compete, I think.
Right.
Alright, so AFC North we just did. Let's go NFC North.
Yep, this one, you'll like this. We got Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears.
Okay.
I think the Bears pretty far and away are terrible. And I think the Packers take a step back.
Okay.
Just loses the division, maybe misses the playoffs. We'll see.
Okay, I don't mind that. So mine is a little bit different. I got the Packers winning the division.
9 wins.
Really? I got them winning 10, I think.
Packers with 9.
I think 10 I had them winning, which I'm not really too sure. I forget.
I mean, they've got guaranteed wins against the Bears and probably the Lions, but
I got them winning, I think, 10 games. So I got the Packers, then the Vikings, then the Lions and the Bears. I think one thing about the Lions, though, is I'm a big Amon-Ra St. Brown guy. I've told you before. He was actually the second best fantasy player in the last 5 games last season from Week 13 to Week 18. The second best player overall all in fantasy was Cooper Kupp, then him. I think he's going to be a star this year. I think he has a great year for that Lions team. I think Jared Goff has a good year, too. I don't mind Jared Goff. I know a lot of people are down on him. I think the Lions finished 3rd in the division. I'm not saying they're going to be great, but I don't mind them. As for the Vikings, though, you have them winning the division. What makes you think they win the division? You like Justin Jefferson, Kirk Cousins,
Adam Thielen? Well, they should be better coached this year, right? Defense should be a little bit better, right? I don't know if they brought any new bodies in for that. I just think it's more the Packers taking a step back.
They got Lewis Cine from Georgia, the safety from Everett, Massachusetts.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's good.
First-round pick.
I just think they've got more firepower on offense than any other team in the division.
I would agree with that. Yes, they actually do have a good team up to Justin Jefferson. Which, hey, we talked about the Bengals for a second, which we just reminded when we talked Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow, one of the best connections in the NFL. So one thing I want to mention is I had them winning 9 games, going 9-8. I wouldn't be surprised if they go 10-7, 11-6, just because of how good that connection is. You need a great quarterback and a great wide receiver connection. That's what wins you games. Kirk Cousins, Justin Jefferson, I don't know if they're better than Burrow and Chase, but I do like that connection. I think the Packers finish first in the division. I think the Vikings go, I don't know, maybe 9-8, 10-7. I'm not really sure. I'm going to give my predictions after this of the wins and losses. I forget. But I got the Lions in third, the Bears in fourth. The Bears, nothing there to play with, right?
Oh, terrible.
They have nothing there to help them.
Justin Fields, he's got
nothing there to play.
Long season ahead.
Yes, no offensive line, really no help besides Donnell Mooney. David Montgomery's solid, but don't really have much help out there at all. So we got the Lions in third, the Bears in fourth. As for the Packers,
new coach too, right? So
yes, new coach. They got a new
second-year quarterback now with a probably first-year coach. It's not a good recipe right there.
First-year coach, first-year GM. Their GM actually is from BC. Went to BC. Ryan Poles. This is now his first year as their GM. Yeah, as the Bears. The Giants were close to actually getting him as their GM before we got Joe Shane. But as for the Packers, though, you're not a big Rodgers guy, so you think he has a down year without Devontae Adams, or at least a little bit of a down year?
I think so.
I know you're a big Devontae Adams guy. I think we both like Devontae Adams, but you're not a big Rodgers guy, so it makes sense. You think the loss of Devontae Adams brings them down a little bit?
I think it brings them down. I mean, NFC's kind of weak, so most likely they probably will make the playoffs, but in terms of bold prediction, I'll have them going 9-8.
Okay. I respect that. So mine's Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears. Mike's is Vikings, Packers, Lions, Bears. Okay, not bad. Next up, we'll save the AFC West for the last. We'll go AFC South, because I think AFC West is going to be a long talk probably, I'm sure. So I'll go first here since you've done the first few.
Yep, you go.
AFC South, I got the Colts, Titans, Jaguars, Texans. And I'm going to explain really quick.
Good thing you went. I don't even have to go. Same thing.
You got the same exact thing? Okay, I was going to say.
I got the same.
I was going to say, I think the Colts have a really good year. And I'm happy you agree. It makes the conversation easier. You like the Colts this year, too?
I just think the Colts match up well in the division. I think Titans take a step back. No A.J. Brown. They were kind of dwindling last year. The offense is predicated on Henry. He's got a lot of miles on him.
Yep,
absolutely. I don't know if their defense is holding up the way it did like 3 years ago. So I just think the Colts are a younger, better team, and now they got Matty Ice in there playing indoors behind a great line, great running back, a couple of great receivers, or at least good ones.
Absolutely.
So
no, they have a good team.
Good. I see them matching up well within the division, which is all you need to win it.
Absolutely. So that's the reason I went with the Colts. I think you see Matt Ryan. He actually had a good year last year with a bad offensive line. He was the second best deep ball passer in the NFL last year, so had a very good season throwing the ball deep.
Now Ridley too, right?
Ridley out. Exactly. Russell Gage was the number one receiver, and they had Kyle Pitts obviously as the tight end. But now he has a great offensive line.
Yeah.
Frank Reich is your offensive coordinator, great offensive-minded head coach, got 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions out of Carson Wentz last year, so very good year for Carson Wentz in that Reich system. And then you look at it, he's got Jonathan Taylor, the best running back in the NFL, Michael Pittman. They're going to have a good year. I like the Colts to win the division. I like Matt Ryan a lot. I'm happy you went with them first. The Titans, as you said, Derrick Henry, a lot of miles on him, had the banged-up foot last year. You add in no A.J. Brown, and you add in a Ryan Tannehill that was regressing at the end of last season already. I'm down on them.
A little pressure on him with they drafted the kid Malik Willis, right?
They did. Malik Willis out of Liberty, absolutely.
I think if things start going south, they might even try to give him a spin at some point. So
that's how it happens. Hey, Daniel Jones got the.
I could see it would take a lot, but I could see the Jaguars being second in the division with maybe a sub-500 record. But
I'll say this about potentially having, Malik Willis start. I think there's a possibility. If you go 0-2, 0-3, you never know. You never know, because that's a good roster besides quarterback.
I think it would take more than that.
But you never know, though. They have a good roster, though. I feel like if they feel like quarterback's the reason they're losing games, you never know. That's the only thing. Maybe 1-5, you're saying?
Yeah, that's what, you have, 4 losses in a row is.
I think they'll still be decent. I think I have them winning. Let me see. I'll tell you right now. I think they go 9-8.
I think he might be the best. I don't know. I mean, I like Vrabel, so I think Vrabel's a good coach. I don't think he's going to coach his way to a losing season. I just don't think.
Yeah, I got them go 9-8. They don't have enough to compete for a Super Bowl. I agree with you that 9-8 is what I got.
Not the AFC.
Absolutely, I'm with you there. I'm with you. They were number 1 seed, though, last year in the AFC. Yeah. So, I guess you never know. But
they really rode a strong beginning of the year with Henry. I mean, what were they, like 8-0?
Yes. They were 7-1, I think, or something. They started the year very hot.
They trailed off a little at the end.
Yeah, you're right. It's a good point. And then as for the Jags, I think if, let's say, Trevor Lawrence makes a big step up, who knows? That team could be a dangerous team. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs this year, even if he does take a step up, maybe 7-10, 8-9's their ceiling.
Yeah, but I think tough for them to get in.
I think 2 years from now, they're going to they could build off this season, win 4 or 5 games, and just build up a little more every year. Doug Peterson's now their head coach.
2 years, if Lawrence is still going, they should be making the playoffs.
Hey,
I think.
Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, Urban Meyer is gone. Now they have Doug Peterson as their head coach, as you know, was very great with Carson Wentz. Got Carson Wentz almost an MVP. He was very close before he tore his ACL.
People say it might have been Frank Reich who did that, but
Peterson was there too, though, as the head coach. Frank Reich definitely is the reason, I would say, because he's the offensive coordinator. But, hey, Peterson wasn't the head coach. It's better than having Urban Meyer as your head coach, tell you that.
True.
So, I agree with you there. And then, both of us in 4th have the Texans. Not really much to play with. We do like Davis Mills, though, their quarterback.
Yeah, I would say, yeah. They're just, they've got a long way to go, but they got a few bright spots. If Mills is the guy, and they find that out this year, that's good for them. Definitely.
I agree with you there. I don't really have much to play with besides Brandon Cooks and Mills, but we'll see how it goes, obviously, for them. Now, next up, NFC South. I get the Bucs, your boy Tom Brady winning the division. I get the Saints in 2nd, the Falcons in 3rd, the Panthers in 4th. What do you got?
Oof, I got Bucs, then the other 3 teams in 4th. No, I got Panthers, Saints, Falcons.
Okay. See, I was a little different. I don't know. They go with the Panthers is Baker Mayfield. I know he won the job over Sam Darnold, and Darnold is hurt. Is Baker Mayfield actually going to help them win 7-8 games to make them be 2nd in the division? That's what it was a big question mark for me. They don't have an offensive line.
For the Browns, I mean, should be able to do it for the Panthers.
Yeah, but now he doesn't have an offensive line. The Browns had a decent offensive line. Had Nick Chubb, had a good run game. McCaffrey's hurt always. I know he's still there, but McCaffrey gets hurt a ton. I mean, you might be right. I mean, you got some hot takes in there.
I'd rather have McCaffrey and DJ Moore than Kamara and whoever the Saints guy is. Because I think Michael Thomas is terrible.
What's Michael Thomas?
I mean, they got Olave now.
Michael Thomas and Kamara.
He throws a ton of picks.
I think Jameis is good, yeah. I like Jameis this year.
No, I don't.
Okay, I respect that, though. So, mine is Bucs, Saints, Falcons, Panthers. You have Bucs, and then what was the rest?
It was Panthers, Saints, Falcons. Falcons are pretty much tanking, I mean.
Yes, there's not really much to play with. Hey, they got Marcus Mariota as quarterback, so I guess they're trying to get a top pick in the draft, it seems like.
I think eventually Ritter will probably get in there and have
That's true, actually, you're right.
Games.
They could be tanking. Obviously, if they think Ritter's their quarterback for the future, they could tank and just try to get a better draft pick and get a different position, like a defensive lineman or offensive lineman, you never know. But obviously, they don't really have much to play with for Desmond Ridder. As for the Bucs, though, very high on Brady this year, very high on the Bucs.
Oh, yeah, they're going to steamroll through the division with ease.
I don't know. I like the Saints, though. I think the Saints will be a game or 2 away, maybe 2 games away.
Yeah, well, I think the Saints play the Bucs tough, but that's about it. It's really the defense.
It's a Brady versus Winston. You're going to take Brady all day. I get that. So I get that. You're not going to go with Jameis Winston over Brady, probably. So it makes sense that you'd.
No. I don't think Winston's a playoff quarterback. So.
I get that. All right, so that's a pretty good breakdown of that division. Next up, why don't we go NFC West before we go to AFC West? Switch up because I think AFC West is the best conversation.
All right, give you 4.
Okay, I'll go first, and then for AFC West, you can go first if you want, or I can. Okay. You can switch. But since I did the last 2, NFC West, I got the Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks.
Yeah, I got Niners, Rams, Cardinals, Seahawks. I think helping my case a little bit. Rams lost the opening night game, but I think Niners can win the division. I don't think they're going to blow anyone away with like 15 wins, but I think they'll have enough roster talent to win it. And I think the Rams just take a step back, kind of like the Packers. I don't know.
Yes, I think my predictions...
They seem like a Super Bowl hangover type team.
That's what the Rams are saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I think with my predictions, I stayed the same for the most part.
They had no running game there.
No help.
The Bills are good, but it's the only game we've seen in the NFL all year, and they could not move the ball on the ground.
Cam Akers versus Darrell Henderson. Seems like Henderson might have won that job, or Akers might just be hurt still. But
yeah, and with Stafford at 3 picks, I mean.
Yeah, Stafford at 3 picks.
Okay.
And I went at a couple, but one of them wasn't his fault. So there were 6 turnovers in the game. It's a lot of turnovers. I think there were 6. It's a good amount of turnovers. Especially 2 good teams. The Rams and the Bills. 6 turnovers between the 2 teams. A lot, but...
I mean, you'd expect more scoring off a team if they get, 2 picks and a fumble recovery off.
Absolutely.
They still only managed, 10 points?
10 points. So here's the thing. I'm going to stay with it. I went Rams, 49ers, Cardinals, Seahawks. I think the one thing with the 49ers, it was Trey Lance. Big question mark in the NFL this year. I think
a big question mark.
If he's a big year, though, who knows? They still got Jimmy G, obviously, on that restructured contract. So maybe there's a chance Jimmy G steps in if Trey Lance isn't doing well. Since that roster's ready to win now, and if the quarterback's not ready, they're going to put Trey Lance... They'll take Trey Lance out by week 4 if they were 1-3.
Yeah, they got... And it's not like he's a rookie. I mean, it's a de facto rookie, but he was on the team last year. It's not like he's brand new to it. Same coach, same scheme. A lot of good playmakers with Debo and...
Absolutely.
Elijah Mitchell, Ayuk, when Kittle's healthy. I mean, it's a good team.
Definitely.
The defense is good, so.
Ayuk, Kittle, absolutely. Yeah, we like Mitchell a lot.
Roll through, get some wins.
I'm with you.
If they can beat the Rams once, then they should be fine.
Definitely. I like the Rams, though, just because of their roster. Obviously, Jalen Ramsey had a really bad game. Now, if I'm basing it off of what their defense looked like the other night, Jalen Ramsey was not a number 1 corner the other night. I know you've never been a big fan of Jalen Ramsey.
I'm not a big Ramsey guy.
You've never been a Ramsey guy.
I think cornerback across the league is just down. I think there's just way more talent at wide receiver, and
yes,
the offense gets all the calls. It's just tough to be a cornerback these days. There's no more like Champ Bailey, but that being said, I still think Ramsey's overrated.
Yes, I agree with you now. I always kind of thought he was a little overrated.
Like he's never come up in the huge games.
I always thought he was a
2018 Super Bowl run, right?
Yes, yeah, 2018 Super Bowl.
They played him. They were like the top defense in the league.
Yeah, I believe 2017 AFC Championship.
Brady came back a couple touchdowns in the 4th quarter and won.
Yeah, and Ramsey had a tough, obviously, game in the Super Bowl last year, and then even in that NFC Championship game with a tough game then
Brady
too.
Went right over the top to Evans for the touchdown.
Or was it divisional game? That might have been the divisional game, but yes, because they played the Niners.
Who they play in the?
The Niners.
Right.
It was the Niners, but you're right. The NFC divisional round.
The Niners were in the NFC Championship. NFC Championship again last year.
They were. They have a good roster. You might be right.
Perennial playoff team.
You might be right. You might be right there about that Niners team.
You're not going to be a playoff team and then switch off the quarterback who's still on your roster and not make the playoffs.
I agree with you. You might be right. And as for the Cardinals and Seahawks, I know we got both down on Kyler Murray. Neither one of us thinks he has a great year. I think he's a good quarterback. He's not elite. He's not top 5, top 7 quarterback in the NFL, at least in my eyes.
No way.
He's not in that class with Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Tom Brady. He's not in that class.
Gosh, yeah, you put him next to Josh Allen, my goodness.
Yeah, Josh Allen's a big guy. So we're not high on the Cardinals, obviously. I think that one thing with the Cardinals is obviously Kyler Murray got that big payday. He had that study clause in it that got taken out, probably because he doesn't study enough. Might show that he doesn't really care about winning enough. He's not doing his homework on the side. Brady, every day is conditioning his body to try to get ready for the season. Seems like Kyler Murray doesn't have the ability to want to study.
Like his dedication's questionable.
Definitely. That's a reason I think they have a little bit of down year, obviously with a suspension for DeAndre Hopkins that wasn't great. And if you look at it...
Is Chandler Jones?
Chandler Jones is gone. Oakland Raiders, or Las Vegas Raiders.
So the little outflow of talent, DeAndre Hopkins is out for a while, suspended, right?
Yes.
And they lost Christian Kirk. He's going to play with Trev.
Yes, they lost a lot. You're right.
Not that I think any of those ingredients are going to make them a playoff team anyway. So I think it's Kyler Murray. He's just not...
It's not great.
He's good. Half of the year, and who knows how they'll even be in the beginning of the year.
He starts off the year hard every year, and they do this Kyler Murray better than Lamar Jackson.
Because he runs around, and then when he starts taking a little bit of a beating, his legs slow down, he can't run, he's not scampering.
You're right. It's a good point. Yeah, so we both got the Cardinals in 3rd, the Seahawks in 4th. Neither one was high in the Seahawks. I don't think anyone really is. Geno Smith, Drew Lock as their quarterbacks. Geno Smith will be starting for them.
That team's going to be a tough watch.
Yes. Geno Smith will be starting for them tomorrow, so that'll be interesting. But I don't know. I think they're a 4th place team. I think they'll probably end up getting the 1st or 2nd pick and then building around a new quarterback, realistically.
Yeah, I mean, they got no line. 2 QBs who are not franchise quarterbacks. It's just...
It's a mess. It's a mess there.
That's going to be a long year.
Definitely. So now for the AFC West. Do you want me to... Why don't we go one by one? How we start with that? I'll start off. I get the Raiders. Raiders win the division.
We'll go from top to bottom.
Okay. One by one, I'll go. I get the Raiders winning the division. Who do you got winning?
I got the Broncos winning.
Okay. I get the
Chiefs.
Chiefs.
The exact reason that the Seahawks are going to be terrible. Now they got Russell Wilson.
Okay. I know you're a big Russ guy, it seems like, but I'm going to go 2nd, Kansas City.
I got the Raiders.
Okay. Third, San Diego, or Los Angeles, actually, the Chargers.
Yeah. San Diego Chargers in L.A.
Yes. I got the Chargers in third. Who do you got?
I got the Chargers, too.
Okay. And then I got the Broncos in fourth. I know you're high in the Broncos, but I got the Broncos in fourth. Who do you got?
I got the Chiefs in fourth.
Okay. Top to bottom, I'll just repeat it. Raiders, Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos. You can repeat your four now.
And I got Broncos, Raiders, Chargers, Chiefs.
Okay, so clearly we are a little bit different, though, because you have the Chiefs in last. I have the Chiefs in second, and I got the Raiders in first. You got the Raiders in second. So we're very high in the Raiders, both of us. We do differ a little bit with the Broncos, though. I'm fourth for the Broncos. You are first. You think Russell Wilson brings them to the division title and they win their division?
Oh, yeah. I think this is a dark horse team to make the Super Bowl.
Okay. Yeah, you're high on Russ this year. I thought he was declining a little bit last year.
I just think he's stepping into a great team. They got a couple good running backs. Line's decent. They've got Sutton, Judy.
Absolutely.
They should be pretty solid on offense. And then the defense, it's the best defense in the division.
Bradley Chubb.
And they've got the number one home field advantage in football. So all those things together should be enough to win a division.
Mile high.
Take. I mean, why not?
Yeah, I know. We have to have hot takes in here. And I think people know that.
You're going to say, Wilson's got to feel motivated to actually make the playoffs and be good again.
Definitely. People are very down on it. Some people are down on him, some people are high. But
and he's a good quarterback.
I like him. I like Russ Wilson a lot. I just think he was a little bit on the declining end.
I'll take him on my team.
That's true. I think he was on the declining end, though, so that's why I wasn't very high in the Broncos. I think the Broncos still go 9-8, but I think they're probably fourth in that division. As you're talking about their weapons, they have a ton. Jerry Jeudy, obviously. Javonte Williams, good back. Melvin Gordon, good back. Bradley Chubb on defense. Have a good offensive line.
Sutton's supposed to be their top receiver anyways, right?
Yes, Sutton's supposed to be the top receiver, at least their big one. Judy's more of a flashy guy, so maybe Jeudy makes more highlight plays, but Sutton obviously a big red zone target.
It's like the high-end draft pick.
Exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. So, you got the Broncos in first. I got them in fourth. As for the Raiders, I'm very high on them. I love Derek Carr this year with Devontae Adams. Getting Josh McDaniels now as their head coach. Adding Chandler Jones as well. I like this team a lot.
Yeah, they should have good pass rush, good offense.
Definitely.
I expect them to have good offense, but it's the best offensive division in football. Like, all those offenses are good, so you have to be a great offense in that division to even just stay even with the rest of the teams.
To stay afloat, you do. To stay afloat,
I
you
got
have
them in
to.
second. I think they're going to be fine, but I don't see them winning the division outright. I just don't think McDaniel's going to go in there and take the division from everybody year one, but he could.
You never know.
I wouldn't bet on it.
I like the Raiders. I don't know. They're just a wild card in my eyes. I think they can go very far. I don't know what it is about them. And here's the thing. I've said this before.
Oh, I got that. They're definitely. I think they'll make the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. And I've said this to you before, that even if they don't finish first in the division, they come in second or third. Like you have them at second. Maybe they come in second. I think they go further than any team in this division. Let's say 3 teams make it in this division to the playoffs. I think they go further than all 3 teams.
See, this is why I think having Russell Wilson helps, gives you an edge over the Raiders, because I think in the playoffs, I'd pick Russ over
Derek Carr. I like Derek Carr a lot this year, though. Devontae Adams, and keep in mind, one thing with Devontae Adams is he grew up in a family that was all Raiders fans. His family was still Raiders fans even when he's playing for the Packers. They still had a Raiders den. He said he even admitted to wearing Raiders stuff in the offseason every single year, even when he's on the Packers. This guy wants to win for the Raiders. He wants to win. I think he's going to have a huge year.
He is a wide receiver, I mean.
But what I'm saying is, though, I think he's going to elevate that offense a ton. He wants to win. I'm sure he wanted to win in Green Bay, too. But now when you're playing for the team that you grew up being a fan of, I think that makes a big difference. I really do. If I ever played for the Giants, I'd be locked in. You know what I mean? For any team, I'd be locked in.
I hope it's a positive difference and not a distraction. Could be a distraction.
That's true. That's a good point.
They probably have the best receiving weapons between Devontae on the outside, Renfrow on the inside, and then Waller as tight end. That's a pretty good big 3 right there.
Definitely. I agree with you there. I like Derek Carr a lot this year, though. I don't know how you feel about Derek Carr in the past, but I think this year is a very good year.
He has some limitations. He's good. He should put up good numbers. I just think he's got some limitations compared to the other guy. He's probably the worst quarterback in the division, and it's still, he's a good quarterback, you know?
I got him having a huge year, though. I think he has a really good year. As for the Chiefs, you are down on the Chiefs. 4th place, I get them in second.
On the Chiefs. Not that I think they're going to be sub 500. I'm down on the Chiefs. They've had a lot of long runs in the playoffs. They whip it out against the Bengals last year. Tyreek Hill is gone. I'm down on the Chiefs. I think their defense is taking a step back, too. Usually that's been sneaky pretty good for them. Their defense sometimes comes up with a few stops. They weren't stopping anything in the playoffs, and they got a little bit worse.
Yeah, I know you're down on the Chiefs. I think one thing about this Chiefs team, though, is that you have Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. You lose Tyreek Hill. You do add Sky Moore and Juju Smith-Schuster. I'm very high on Sky Moore. I think he wins Offensive Rookie of the Year. I like Wanda Robinson a lot for that pick, too. But I think if you look at it, that offense, obviously losing Tyreek Hill is a big loss, but I think Juju and Sky Moore can help. Juju and Sky Moore can revive that offense, though, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be... Mahomes does play some favorites when he was rolling out of the pocket. He always looks for Kelsey on third downs and Tyreek Hill to go deep, so...
It's a good point.
Without Hill there, I mean, he's one of a kind in the NFL, really.
He is. The speed's elite.
For what he does, no one else is that fast and jitterbugging all around the field.
Yeah, I agree.
Think Devontae Adams is a better all-around receiver, but Hill, just for what he does, really complements Mahomes with that cannon.
Definitely.
And Mahomes he runs around a little bit, and he does turn the ball over. He turned it over. He had some problems last year.
He did.
Had a stretch of games where he was throwing multiple picks or something.
5-game stretch where he was throwing a ton of picks and just was not looking like the Mahomes that we all know. The MVP Mahomes, he did not look like, obviously. But as for the Chargers...
Guys know, like, he gets impatient holding the ball. And
he does.
Lamar Jackson when he runs. Like, yeah, he'll run, take off, get 10 yards, go out of bounds, but he kind of, like, waddles. He's not that fast, really.
You're right.
He's not really a weapon on the ground.
No, he isn't. He can move a little.
Which you want the quarterback to do. But
move in the pocket and roll out.
I think he makes some mistakes.
I get that. As for the Chargers, though, you got them in third place?
They could easily win the division, too, I think.
They could be in it, definitely.
Electric talent all over the field.
Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson, they added in the offseason. Obviously have an offense with Keenan Allen, Austin Eckler, Justin Herbert. Very good team. Added Zion Johnson. Zion Johnson in the draft out of BC. Mike Williams. I don't know, though. There's something there that I like the other teams better. I don't know. I like the Raiders better, and I like the Chiefs.
It's the freaking coach.
That's it. You're right. Coaching's very important.
He just makes bonehead decisions all the time, like going for it on 4th and 4 for no reason in a tie game, you know, on your side of the field. He thinks the statistics rule it all, and he's got great players, great quarterback. He just doesn't have a feel for the game when he's in it.
You're right.
I don't like that coach. I think they need a new coach in that.
Yeah, they'll probably get one after this year if it doesn't work out. Staley's the head coach, right?
And give them Bill Belichick, I think.
Yeah, you might be right. Staley's their head coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not very high on him either, but I guess we'll have to see.
He defends everything he says. He's like, well, I mean, statistically we should pay off. Like, they went for it on 4th down 3 times or something, lost the game, and they had a lead and gave it up. And he stood by what he did. It's like, well, those choices lost you the game. He thinks he was doing the right thing. I don't know.
Definitely.
So, a guy who just is so stubborn, believing that every choice he makes is the best choice because the stats say so, is just,
I'm with you.
Gives me some pause.
Okay.
I think McDaniels would be a better coach than him right out of the gate.
Yeah, I agree. I think McDaniels obviously now he gets another stab at being a head coach.
Second time around, yeah.
Exactly. I think he's going to be a better head coach than he was.
Coached too well in the second time.
In a better situation now, too. You got Derek Carr as your quarterback. Sound quarterback. Everyone's always respected him. He's never been the top 5 in most eyes. In the top 10, probably never. But
they brought in some good free agents, Vance.
Definitely.
I mean, they should have a good team.
They should have a good team. You're right. They should have a good team. I like McDaniels. I think they have a good team.
The other thing with the Chiefs is, like, ever since Mahomes took over the reins of the Chiefs have been the top of the division. Everyone's been gunning for them. They've built teams to beat the Chiefs. Like, that's who they want to beat. I think now the time has come where these teams are all going to be able to beat the Chiefs.
Definitely.
I think the Raiders were splitting with them every year for the past couple.
Yes, they always play them hard.
You know, the talent that they now have.
The Raiders always play them hard. You're right. The Raiders always play the game very strong and well against Kansas City.
They beat the Chiefs and they did a victory lap around Arrowhead or something?
They did, yeah, on the bus. They did. Now you add Devontae Adams and Chandler Jones. I like that team a lot. I think
McDaniels is going to make Renfro a piece.
Hunter Renfro as well. Darren Waller as well. Josh Jacobs.
I like Josh Jacobs. Power back.
Absolutely. Zamir White.
Even. Yeah.
Zamir White, your boy, Zamir White. Absolutely. They got a solid squad. Rock Ya-Sin, they got in a trade.
Okay, what's he, a defensive guy?
Cornerback. They traded him.
Yeah.
He was a first-round pick. You would know him from the Colts. They traded Yannick Ngakoue for him.
Yeah, I mean, the Broncos got the best secondary in the league, probably, though.
They got a good secondary. I know you're very high in Russ, too.
And then they got
Callahan.
decent pass rush with Chubb and
Callahan. They took a cornerback last year out of Bama. Let me think. 9th overall. What's his name?
Pat Surtain.
Surtain, exactly. Pat Surtain, exactly.
Yeah, I said that. Yeah.
Surtain, exactly. I didn't hear you for a second. My fault.
Surtain. But I think he actually is. He might be a better NFL cornerback than he was college because he's got the physicality to be able to make tackles.
Use his hands well.
Yeah, he's a good player. He's pretty big, physical cornerback.
Absolutely. So I know you were high, obviously, on Russ. You like that team to win the division. Do you think they could be a Super Bowl team? Now I know we don't have to give Super Bowl predictions unless you want to. Maybe name a couple teams.
Out of the AFC, but I think the Broncos can contend. Yeah.
Okay. How about you name 2 teams in each conference that you think maybe could end up being the AFC and NFC championship?
Bills, Bucks win.
Okay. I get the Bucks in the Super Bowl, and I'm gonna go wild card team here now. I'm gonna go the Raiders in the Super Bowl versus the Bucks. I think they make a run. I don't know what it is. I have a feeling about them making a run this year.
I think they need some fortunate things to break their way if they're going to win.
They probably need their defense to play better than it actually is. Obviously, they don't really much in that defense besides Rock Ya-Sin, as I said, and then obviously Chandler Jones. They don't really have much besides that. Max Crosby, very good. Clelin Ferrell did not pan out at the 4th overall selection. They really haven't drafted well at all. Alex Leatherwood, they took in the first round in, I believe it was 2020 or 2021 out of Alabama, ended up cutting him. Yeah. They really haven't had any luck in the first round. At all. At all. Yeah. Obviously, Henry Ruggs didn't work out. Then they drafted a cornerback out of Bama in the first round. Not Bama, Ohio State. He didn't work out, didn't pan out. I'm trying to remember his name. He didn't pan out. Things just have not gone well for that Raiders team. I think things changed.
Safety Abrams or something. He's pretty
good. Yeah, Jonathan Abrams. He's good. It was Damon Arnett they drafted in the first round of Ohio State. Did not work out. Ruggs didn't work out. Leatherwood didn't work out. Farrell didn't work out. 4 first-round picks right there that did not work out in the last 4 or 5 drafts now. I think their fortunes change this year. I think their luck changes. I think they have a really good year. I think they could be in the Super Bowl. Raiders, Bucks. I think the Bills, I don't know what it is about the Bills. I think they will have the best record in the NFL, but I don't know. I like some other teams better. I like the the Colts and the Raiders more. I don't know. That's my AFC championship.
Yeah, I don't see any undefeated teams this year. Let me think about best record. Who's in the best spot for that?
Probably the Bills. That's my best record. But
maybe the Bills, but I don't know.
That's my best record, which I know, obviously, it's easy to pick them since they have such a good offense, such a good team as you've seen the other night. But I'm going to go Bills with the best record, 13-4 I have them at.
Yeah. They should be able to clean up within the division.
Definitely. They're in a good position to win. They're in a good position to win.
They're already ahead of the game. They're 1-0. So.
Absolutely. So, what team, you just said, obviously, you've got the Bills and the Bucks in the Super Bowl. Biggest jump. What team do you think makes the biggest jump? Mine's the Colts. Yours seems like the Broncos?
Broncos for me.
Okay, I respect that. I think the Raiders were already good last year. The Colts obviously didn't make the playoffs last year, losing that last game. The Broncos, you said you asked if the Broncos made the playoffs?
No, Raiders were a playoff team.
Raiders were the playoff team, yes.
Or whatever in that, overtime game.
Yes, in week 18, you're right. They were a playoff team.
I picked them, too, to win the division. They made the playoffs last year. They should be better this year.
You're right. I got them being a good team this year. I think they make a bigger jump, obviously, this year than they did last year. I think they make more of a run in the playoffs. But I think the Colts right now, my biggest jump in the NFL. I think they do great things. Obviously, I named Frank Reich being a reason that Matt Ryan is a great year.
They should have made the playoffs, and then they just sputtered out.
Against Trevor Lawrence.
For a while last year, everyone was saying how good they were, and then they just fizzled.
Trevor Lawrence got a big win. James Robinson, the boys in Jacksonville, got a big win.
They did.
So, that's your biggest jump team. Biggest sleeper, I think, is the Giants. I don't know if you have a team that's a big sleeper. I think the Giants are the biggest sleeper team in the NFL. I think
sleeper team.
You like the Vikings. I don't know if that's a sleeper team or not, but you got them winning the division. That's probably a sleeper pick.
I don't know if that's a sleeper.
It's probably a sleeper pick, though, right? Because
probably underachieve.
It's probably a sleeper pick, though, because a lot of people like the Packers to win that division still. But
sleeper team.
I think the Giants are a very, very big sleeper team. I think Brian Daboll transforms that offense. I think the Giants are going to do big things this year. I see them.
So I'm going for a team that's otherwise everyone thinks they're bad, but they could win the division. I think Jaguars, maybe.
You never know, I guess. If they were to go 7, maybe a sleeper team.
I think the division just is ripe for a great quarterback to come in and take a team to another level.
Yeah, you're right. I think
Trevor, Trevor could prove to be the best quarterback in the division this year.
Probably 2 years out for them to compete for winning the division, I think. Which I know what you mean by it, the biggest jump. Maybe they win. Maybe they win 8 games.
They beat the Colts end of the year. They beat the Bills last year.
They did beat the Bills and the Colts.
Defense, and they added to it. So
they beat the Bills when in the middle of the season. I believe it was like week 7 or 8. Yeah. You know, it wasn't like it was end of the season. The Bills weren't playing yet. But they beat the Bills with Josh Allen on the field and Stephon Diggs.
Yep.
So I agree with you there. Maybe they
can
win 7 games. I think that's a sleeper pick.
Thinking, like, who do they face this year? It's got to be within their division. There's no like juggernaut.
Yeah.
And then, you know,
that's why I think the Colts.
Got a pretty weak schedule. They didn't finish well.
That's why I think the Colts have a great year because the division isn't great. I think the Colts go 12-5 because the division isn't great. I think they go 5-1 in the division. But
I'd like to see the Jaguars win the division. I'd like to see Trevor Lawrence get in the playoffs. But
okay, you know, I respect that.
If I could, but I don't have him there. I got him in 3rd in the division.
Now, biggest sleeper.
I could see it. Jags.
Okay, biggest sleeper. Maybe they surprise winning 7 or 8 games. That's still a sleeper pick with them winning 7 games because people probably have them winning 4 or 5 games. I think I have them. I'll tell you right now what I have them winning. I have them winning 5 games, maybe 6. But we'll see. Who knows, right? I mean, you never know what happens. So I got the Giants as my biggest sleeper. I like.
What did they get with their first round pick? Was the lineman or something?
Trayvon Walker, first overall linebacker out of Georgia, edge rusher.
Yeah, Georgia, right?
Beast. Yeah, he's a big guy. So you got the Jags being a sleeper team, maybe winning 7 or 8 games. That would be a surprise pick. I got the Giants winning 9 games. That's a surprise pick. I like Mike Kafka coming over from Kansas City. He was the quarterback's coach with Mahomes. Now comes over as now the Giants offensive coordinator. Obviously Brian Daboll adding Wan'Dale Robinson, getting Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones healthy, and Evan Neal in the draft with Kayvon Thibodeau. The Giants are my sleeper team. So there you go. There you have it. So now, biggest team to regress. I don't know. I know I didn't give you any of these questions beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like for me, Chiefs.
Chiefs? Yeah, I was going to say it was probably the Chiefs for you.
Have a better record than, well, I don't know. If I got the Chiefs in 4th in the division.
It's probably the Chiefs for you. I got the Patriots regressing.
I don't know what the worst 4th place, or the best record for a 4th place team is, but
9-8 maybe will be the
Chiefs being a better team than the Packers, but having a worse record.
I think 9-8 is what the AFC West 4th place team will be. I think that whole division would be over 500, yeah. Like the MLB.
I mean, they should clean up around the rest of the league, just within the division.
Definitely. Like the AL East, though. The AL East, everyone was over 500 at one point this season in July. So, who knows? It could be like that with the NFC, or AFC West, excuse me. As for big sleeper teams, we both said Giants. I said the Giants. You had the Jags. And then as for teams we both think could regress, you think the Chiefs. And then I have the Patriots being a regressing team. I think the Patriots regress a little this year. Obviously, getting Joe Judge and Matt Patricia as their offensive coordinator or offensive assistants, whatever you want to call them, since neither one of the offensive coordinator, I think that's something to worry about if I were to be a Patriots fan. I don't know how you feel about them, though. Where do you fall in line with them?
Yeah, well, I have expectation that they do at least as well as they did last year. Mac Jones' 2nd year, Belichick still at the helm. I mean, they're supposed to have a little bit better talent, especially on offense. So, I mean, they lost Jason Jackson on defense, but
yeah, that's a good point. I have them.
I expect 10-7.
Okay.
Playoffs. So if they don't, then yeah, regression.
I'm 8-9.
It will remain to be seen how bad the coaching is on offense.
I was very much torn between 8-9, 9-8. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to go 9-8, but it'll be tough. I think it's tough. Obviously, compete with the Bills and the Dolphins. I think both teams are better, but that's obviously just my pick there. So we just did our predictions there. Any team, or any player, I should say, not even team, any player that you think could win MVP this year that didn't win last year. Tom Brady's my pick. He didn't win last year. I know everyone's going to have.
Tom Brady did win last year. He's going to win again.
Well, everyone's going to pick. I mean, Rodgers probably a lot of people still like, but I don't think he's going to win MVP. But everyone likes Josh Allen to win MVP.
More yards, more touchdowns, more wins than Rodgers last year.
He had more yards He had the most yards, completions, and touchdowns in the NFL last year.
And didn't Rodgers miss a game? Brady did.
Rodgers did miss a game with COVID.
It's a joke.
He did miss a game with COVID. I think the thing about Brady is most people have Josh Allen winning MVP this year. I saw some people in predictions, maybe even Rodgers still. I'm going to go Brady winning MVP. I think he should have won it last year, too. So I think maybe you turned my eyes a little bit on Brady. Turned my opinion around.
I think Brady can win. And I think Brady hasn't, despite the Bills being clearly the best team in our division, I think the Bucs are even more so the best team in their division. Brady should be able to clean up.
Yeah, I would agree. They're best team overall for sure in that division.
The NFC could beat the Bucs in a playoff game.
I don't know. I got them winning it.
I don't know. I mean, maybe if the Bucs line is completely decimated and Donald gets going, but even then, I don't know.
I mean, I did my NFC predictions. I got the Bucs as the 1 seed, the Rams as the 2, Packers as the 3, Eagles as the 4, Niners as the 5, Saints as the 6, Giants, just because they're my team, I know it's a little bit biased, are the Giants as the 7 seed, just sneaking in at 9 and 8, just because why not?
Yeah, I haven't even given thought to what the placement could be, but...
See, I only did seeding.
I think the real contenders are.
I only did seeding just because, I was planning this for a while, and I wanted to do predictions, because I did it for the MLB. I think I did predictions for every team will finish in the division with numbers and wins and losses, and it was cool to watch over the course of the season. So I just wanted to do it again with this. Obviously, it's a little bit harder with the NFL since 17 games. You never know what teams are going to look like in week 1. I'm sure some people bet on the Rams the other night. They end up losing that game. Didn't look good at all. I mean, it's hard to predict where every team's going to place in the division. And then factor in, we want hot takes. We have some hot takes in, and you have to have hot takes, right? You can't just say the Bills are going to be the best team 17-0.
Betting favorite to make the Super Bowl, is that right?
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
They are.
So,
Bills, Bucs.
I think the Rams are probably still a Super Bowl contender type team.
Definitely.
Sneaky, I think the teams, when they're starting off at home with the ring ceremony, I think they almost always lose.
Seems like
the Patriots used to lose that game every year.
Seems like it. You're right. It's not easy. It's not easy to start out week 1.
The team coming in there is a little fed up with it, and they go in, they're all business.
And definitely have to sit there for the 25 minutes or whatever and wait for the game to start, with all the rings and see the players come out. They got to sit and wait through all of that. You're right. It's a good point. So do you have any hot takes, any more opinions on this year in the NFL? Any surprise things, any hot takes, sleepers, busts? Obviously you don't like the Chiefs, so that's a team you right there I think is going to have a downfall.
Yeah, well, I think the Niners winning their division, and I think Trevor Lawrence having a good year.
Okay. I think Trevor Lawrence has a good year.
I'm looking at that I believe will happen.
I think Trevor Lawrence has a good year too. I like Trevor Lawrence this year, and that's one thing.
I think he'll turn some heads. I mean, I think he's just great. I mean,
he's a beast.
People are really sleeping on, really down on. They talked about a bunch of other quarterbacks. I mean, Trey Lance probably gets more hype than Lawrence gets, and I think Lawrence is just 10 times better. It's
because Trey Lance runs the ball, and that's what the NFL's all about now, is who can make a flashy play.
Lawrence is underrated with his legs. He's got size, length. He's got those long strides. He scampered for that long touchdown against Ohio State in the college semifinal.
You're right. You're right. Trevor Lawrence can move. He can move around the pocket. He likes to roll out.
I mean, and throw on the run. I think he's the best in the league. Probably.
He likes to throw on the run a ton. You're right. It's a good point. Speaking of
Mahomes, throw on the run.
Yeah, Mahomes. Yeah, he's not as good with his. Trevor Lawrence, bigger guy though too. I think it might help him there. But we were talking earlier today about the Alabama game. Obviously, Alabama-Texas comes down to a field goal, ends up being a win for Alabama.
Yeah.
Bryce Young, though, which you were telling me, because I didn't really watch the first quarter that much because I was getting food, but you were telling me that they were comparing him to Trevor Lawrence, correct, Bryce Young?
Oh, my goodness, yeah. They're like, if he was 6'3", they'd be calling him better than Trevor Lawrence. And,
yeah.
So they got Andrew Luck. They were saying he would have been right up there with those two. And then, that talk stopped after the first quarter.
He's not Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is a prospect.
No. Well,
which is unreal.
Was desperate to have another guy like that. They had Burrow, they had Lawrence, they had Tua when he was, first ascending there.
Definitely. 3 years of Tua, 1 year of Burrow being the star of college football, and then 2 or 3 years with Trevor Lawrence.
Bennett, who was like a fifth-string quarterback, goes in and wins for Georgia last year.
Which was unreal.
Yeah, that's great. But he's not like the big-time quarterback throwing 50 touchdowns, so get desperate for some stock power. Everyone thought Rattler was going to be the guy at Oklahoma, and then he wasn't.
Didn't work out. Everyone thought he was Mahomes.
I don't think Bryce and Stroud are the same caliber of quarterback that
You're right.
college football, the past
They're waiting to latch on a guy like Lamar Jackson, like they did for a few years, and a Trevor Lawrence. That's what they're waiting for.
Yeah, because the stars sell the sport. So
definitely. But if you look at it, that Texas game today, Bama ends up winning that game 2019. But there was a tough call there on that pass interference. Not pass interference. The roughing the passer call.
There was a tackle in the end zone on Bryce Young. Should have been
a safety.
Possibly should have been a safety, but they ended up calling it targeting, and then it got waved back to incomplete pass.
I saw that.
Then what's his name? The kicker for Texas at the end of the first half misses a 20-yard chip shot.
It was Johnson, yes.
Wide.
Oh, no, that's a kick returner. Hold on, I'm looking at their box score now. Auburn was their kicker.
Yeah, Auburn, the guy, yeah.
Had a 49-yarder.
I don't know, just a few tough guys. Oh, and they should have had a surefire sack on Bryce Young in that 2-minute drill. Cornerback comes in untouched on the blitz, has his arms around Young, and just falls off him for some reason.
You're right.
On the quarterback. And then, he just escapes the pocket and runs for like 25 yards.
Yeah, he didn't have that great of a day, Young. 27 to 39.
He had a tough game. He threw a couple balls that probably should have been picked.
212 passing yards, a touchdown. No interceptions. Should have been at least 1 or 2. Jameer Gibbs had a good day. 9 carries, 22 yards. And also added 9 receptions, 74 yards on the ground with a receiving touchdown. If you look at Texas, though, Bijan Robinson, our boy, had a good game. 21 carries, 57 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Did add 3 catches.
Catch. Oh, man.
3 catches for 73 yards and a 42-yard reception. 3 catches for 73 yards is very impressive.
He had a ball downfield that he caught that I don't think any receiver on the Patriots could do. It was great.
He's a beast. Oh, we're a big Bijan Robinson fan club, aren't we both? We're both big fans of him.
Yeah.
Huge fans of him. He's an absolute beast. And then one other game that I want to discuss. I know this wasn't supposed to be a college football thing, but that Marshall game, do you see that game? Notre Dame losing to Marshall?
No, but that's tough for Notre Dame. Wow.
Yeah, number 8 team in the country now. They're 0-2. Marshall had a huge game, though. Huge game. I mean, I think
you're going to see Bama. Bama's dropping down in the. You cannot go almost lose. Probably should have lost.
20
to an unranked Texas team.
20.5 point favorites, right? 20.5 point favorites.
Yeah, jeez. They're going down. It's going to be Georgia, number 1.
Yeah. Marshall, though, was just nuts.
Ohio State, they'll probably scoot up, too.
You're right, yeah. And Marshall, though, was just led on the ground. Their running back, Laybourne, was unreal. 31 carries, 163 yards, and a touchdown. And he also added a catch of 5 yards. But they had a very good game.
I saw the score. I'll have to maybe check out the highlights.
See, I watched some of it. I only watched, really, a little bit of the first quarter, and then the fourth quarter I tuned in again. But they were good, though. They were good. And then that quarterback on Notre Dame struggled through 2 picks or whatever. They ended up taking him out of the game. He ran the ball, though, 13 carries for 44 yards and 2 touchdowns. But, yeah, Notre Dame, maybe they're falling off. They're a college football playoff team every year, and this will not be the year being 0-2.
They lost Kelly there, the coach.
Lost Kelly.
Down at LSU, but
definitely. Being 0-2, though, I don't know. Kelly maybe makes them 1-1. I don't know. You can't be 0-2, though. Maybe it's not a good team anymore.
Ohio State game 1, that's a tough ask.
Yes.
Just because of recruiting at Ohio State. I mean, they've got.
I was going to say 1-1 probably, right? They'd probably be 1-1 is what I was thinking with him.
I mean, you don't think. Yeah, he should not be. I don't think Kelly would have led them to lose against Marshall.
No way. They wouldn't lose that.
Coach. He's now kind of a laughing.
Franklin, he's the defensive coordinator last year. Now he's their head coach.
Yeah. I mean, hey, college football should be exciting. In a few years with the bigger playoffs, some of these upsets will actually matter. Teams might sneak in. You get a marquee win on your resume, that might be enough.
It's Freeman. Marcus Freeman's his name. I said Franklin. I was thinking, I thought Penn State, Franklin. But yes, it is Marcus Freeman. He was their defensive coordinator, is now their head coach. Only 36 years old, so a very young head coach there at Notre Dame. Obviously taking over for Kelly that was there for so long. But yeah, college football though, we're very big Bijan Robinson fans. I'm a big Malik Cunningham fan. Can't wait for Louisville to come to BC. I know we're both psyched for that game.
All these games that the BC's going to host are going to be blowouts.
Hey, UMaine though, next week, baby.
Honestly, I don't know if they can beat me.
If you watch tonight's game and you watched their game last week, you never know.
Oh, Phil with a long connect to Trey Flowers on the sideline.
Zay Flowers got it?
Yeah, he grabbed it.
Trey Flowers, your Patriot, you're thinking. Zay, though, you're right.
Oh, yeah.
Zay. No, I got you. Trey Flowers a Patriot, I get it. I do that too sometimes, with the Giants names, you always think of the Giants players and Patriots players, so I get that. Anyways, Mike, anything else you want to add in?
No, I'm excited to watch tomorrow. Should be great.
Definitely, I'm psyched, and I think the great thing about the NFL is you never know who's going to be great, you never know who's going to be the best team, the worst team, and I apologize for the noise here. Got the Newton bus here driving by me, so if you wondered what the Newton bus still sounded like, still loud, so here it is, still right next to me here. Anyways, thank you, Mike, so much for coming on. The sports guru, Mike Hurley. Always a pleasure talking to you. You know everything about sports. As I said, college football, college hockey, NBA, NFL, MLB, NHL. The kid knows it all. He's a sports guru for a reason.
We'll have to grade these 1 through 4s at the end of the year, see how we did.
Absolutely. Hey, you know what the thing is? We stay true to our picks. We're not going to delete the episode if we have a bad pick.
I'm in the take bunker.
Absolutely. We always stay true to our picks. And we stay true to our players, too. We always stay true. But hey, Mike, thank you so much for coming on. Always a pleasure, my boy.
Yeah, it's great.
Have a good one, Mike. Take it easy.
Go Pats.